Good morning, students. Today we are going to start our first unit of our subject called Financial Services. So, what are we going to learn from the unit 1? So, it's going to be an introductory part. Okay. So, in this introductory part, we are going to learn about what is financial services and what is the concept for this raising of financial services and what are the objects for the financial services and what is the need to set up this financial services firstly, okay, and then the functions of financial services and then the characteristics of financial services. So this is one part. And the second part that we are going to learn is about financial services market. So in the market, you will be having heterogeneous services, financial services. So what do you mean by that financial services marketing and how it differs from financial services in financial services market? And what is the concept for bringing this financial services market into the concept and the growth of financial services in India? And then the third part, this is your second part, and the third part that we are going to discuss about is financial services sector in the industry and what are the problems that are being faced by the financial services sectors and who are all the players in the financial markets that we are going to learn today from this introductory part. Okay, so let's just move on to the next step. So let me just introduce about the financial services. What is financial services and why do we need this financial services? Normally, all the industry that are set up after getting the certificate of incorporation and after getting the certificate of commencement of business, they normally don't start up with their own money. They will try to get some financial assistance from the banks or the non-governmental organizations or someone else, right? So in which case, the service that are being perceived, that are being consumed from the third party, like banks or the NGOs or the financial institutions, will be termed as financial services. So let me just go with the theory. So what the theory says, financial services refer to the services provided by the finance industry. So whatever the industry, whoever the industry may be, but the industry is servicing financially to some other industry means, which will be that particular service will be termed as financial services. And most probably, the services that are being rendered by the financial industry will be in the nature of finance only. Let's say, for example, they render credits to them, they render credit cards to them, to the companies, and they render insurance facilities to the companies, and they render stock brokerage to the companies, and they render investment opportunities, and they render advice to the investment opportunities, investing funds to that particular industry who are in need of financial services. And there are some government-sponsored enterprises also. They will also help in rendering all these financial services to the industries who are in need of such financial services. Okay, so now, what is the meaning of financial services? So as I already mentioned, so whoever the company may be and whatever the company may be, if a financial services is needed by the industry means it will purely be related to the financing terms, which means if I'm starting a business, myself, I'm going to start a business. It's a public limited company or you can take it as a private limited company. I'm going to start a business and I'm planning to have my capital of rupees to 25 lakhs or 25 crores. Let's assume it's 25 crores of capital and I'm going to start a for private limited company. But is it enough for my company to just go with that 25 crores? No, definitely not. So I need some more financing assistance. Even at least after starting up my business, I might go for some search of procurement of the materials of my industry or anything else. I might go for credit options for my industries, right? So when I go for the credit options, I need some financial assistance. So that particular financial assistance will be given by that some financial institutions. So that particular financial assistance is being given by that institution, no? Either it may be a bank or it may be a financial institution or it may be a non-governmental organization, whoever it is. But they are coming forward to give financial assistance to me. So that the process of giving financial assistance to my company is called as financial service. So for that financial service, I may give them some consideration. It is left up to me. Okay. So now coming back to the theory, what I've given here, the term financial services in a broad sense, mobilizing and allocating savings. Thus, it includes all the activities involved with the transformation of saving into income. So by getting the financial assistance from that financial institution, I'm able to get some knowledge about the savings and investment about the company, about my company, right? Yes or no? So if I need to get some financial service, means it is purely related to the activity of my company, what I'm going to plan and what the objective that I set for my company. So if I am in need of any financial assistance, I will go approach the governmental organization or some non-governmental organization who are working, who are rendering the financial services in this particular field. Okay, so now, what is financial service? It's an easy concept. So by watching the picture, you understand. So I'm just starting with a smaller level of investment, and then I'm just getting a grow, just getting a next step of my investment, and then I'm getting another added investment process, and I'm getting a middle level investment, and then I'm getting a little bit upper level investment, and then I'm getting a maturity level. Okay, and if I get my maturity level, is that enough for me to just stop with it? No, definitely not. I'll obviously try to sustain my maturity level. Okay, so I'll just go with the next slide. So now you're clear with the financial services. So now, why do we have that financial services? So for that, firstly, we need to understand the objectives of financial services. So by getting the financial services, we do have all these objectives to get satisfied. Okay. So what are the objectives? Fundraising. So we will try to raise our by getting the assistance. As I already mentioned, I'm just going to start a AAA company, AAA Private Limited with a capital of 25 crores. And I'm going and approaching a financial institution for my service to be rendered to me. So I'm just getting the financial assistance out of them, and I'm just start growing my business. So my business. Now, the first point is going to be like just consider this in your mind and just go with the flow, whatever the concept that you are taking. Okay. So now the first point is fundraising. So I will get the assistance of how to raise the funds first. Fine. So if a financial advisor is giving an advice, if is giving an assistance, he will firstly try to focus on raising the funds for the financing of the particular company. Fine. So how do we raise the funds? So we will try to raise the funds through a large number of investors, a large number of individuals or corporates of that particular industry, those who want to succeed in their field. Is that clear? So, and the next comes our funds deployment. Financial services are available in the market, helps the players to ensure effective deployment of funds, right? So we will absolutely try to deploy our financial services to get help out of what need to be done and what need to be uh, taken care of to raise the funds in the market, okay, to survive in the market. The next comes specialized services. And even the financial services that we are, whatever the assistance that we are getting from the institution, so we will be just getting, not only getting the financial assistance like theoretically, we do, and they do assist, they do try to assist the industries to get the credit rating, venture capital financing, mutual funds investment, leasing services, credit cards, housing finance, besides the banking and insurance as well. Okay, so these specialized services are also offered by the financial institutions, those who are in the field of providing the financial services. Okay, so these services are all pertaining to the financial institutions who are in a place to render the financial services to the companies who actually in the need of that financial services. Hope you understand. Yes. And I go to the next. What is the importance of financial services? What is the importance for this financial services? As I already mentioned, I'm just starting a company worth rupees, investing rupees 25 crores, and it's going to be a private limited company. And it is not enough for me to run my company, right? So I will be in need of some financial assistance. In which case, what I need to do, I will be going and searching for some assistance with pet, and I can't deliberately go and search for the assistance with anyone else, just like that. We'll just go and search for the financial institutions who are providing the financial services, and they should have got the certification from the prior certification from the stock exchange board, and then the RBI of the certificate from the Reserve Bank of India to provide such services. Because if we are provided some credit rating, means it is not easy to get that credit rates, because we should possess that much capability to get that credit rating. So we can't just like that get that credit rating from the financial institution, right? So you might be knowing some institutions like CIBIL, CRISIL, CIBIL and CRISIL. And they are the renowned financial organizations, and they do work for the credit rating of a particular company. And not only for a company, they do even give credit rates to the individual as well. So you might be knowing the concept of CIBIL score. So every individual is having the CIBIL score. What do you mean by CIBIL score? Which will give the full detailed analysis of a individual to get a credit from a bank. So from getting this credit rating, what will happen? So it says that this customer, this person, this individual is worthy enough to get the credit for worth rupees this much. So this type of credit ratings are all given by the financial institutions. Fine. So coming back to the importance of financial services again. So financial services are playing vital. It emphasizes on all the fields. So it emphasizes on the economic growth. Of course, they do give employment. By rendering the financial services, we do give employment to the economic growth. By giving the employment to the graduates, what happens? Our economic growth also increases. And here, one thing I want to mention you students, if I mention we here, that we relates to the financial servicing company, fine? Because whatever the subject that we are learning, I just truly want you to just go with the flow. You people have to understand what is there. So if you want to understand what is there, firstly, you will have to think about that. And you will have to try to treat yourself like that. And you will have to imagine all the particulars that we are learning should pertain to ourselves, right? So now, wherever I mention we, which will relate to financial services, right? So now, by giving the financial services, so we are emphasizing on our economic growth as well. For that, I've given one example infra. So if we give financial services, I mean, if we are in a financial institution and we do provide employment to some graduated. So what do you mean by like graduated, but they might be unemployed, right? So in which case we do provide employment by employing the graduated people. What happens? Automatically, the economic growth will increase. If the economic growth increases, automatically the per capita income, that is the gross domestic product, GDP of the nation will also get increased. So, from the first point itself, the financial servicing institutions are playing a vital role in providing the services, right? Yes. And nowadays, one more adding the example to this point, first point, nowadays, many of the students, like who are getting places, are all like, I mean, 70% of the people are like going for the voice process and they are doing some customer supporting jobs, right? And if they are going into the financial services field means, so they do provide services and they do try to enhance their communication by conversing with the uh, industry people, and they too even get experiencing from that uh, particular job, right? Yes. So the second point is promotion of savings. So how do we relate this with the financial service importance, Satana? So we do relate this with as providing, I mean, as a part of providing financial services, we do make an interest among the industries or whatever the industry may be, manufacturing industry or the production industry or the MNC people, whoever it is. So we do promote savings or depositing uh, interest among the people, and we do increase the financing activities of them, right? That is the second importance. And the third importance is capital formation. Of course, we do make by giving the financial assistance, we do make the industry to form their capital. Of course, this should be the first and foremost importance because most of the industries will come for financial assistance only for raising their capital, right? Only for raising their funds for the uh, future of the company, right? Funds to be raised for the functioning of the company. So, in which case, capital formation is a big importance. It's playing a vital role. Next one is provision of liquidity. Of course, we do try to provide the liquidity to the industry people who are in need of financial services. Yes. What do you mean by liquidity? What do you mean by liquidity? Liquidity is nothing but whenever they do want the liquid fund in their hand means we will try to mobilize it and we will try to arrange for themselves. Okay. Next one is financial intermediation. Of course, we do provide intermediary work, right? So we do provide intermediary work because we are going to provide what I'm mentioning here, we as financial services. So we are going to provide service to the industries who are in need of financial service. So we are going to work as an intermediary between the industry, those who are in need of financial services, with the banks who provide the financial assistance to that particular industry based on the credit ratings, right? Yes. Next, by considering all the above mentioned importance, we do provide contribution to the gross national product, right? Yes, fine. The next slide tells about the types of financial services. So, which is the important part of the financial services. So, on what basis we do provide financial services? So, I've just split it into two different services categories. So, what is that? Fund-based services, fee-based services. Okay. So, what are all is coming under fund-based services? What are all is coming under fee-based services that we will discuss? So, I'll just list out the thing firstly, and then we will discuss it one by one in the upcoming okay. So, the first one, fund-based services. So, what do you mean by fund-based services? Firstly, I just want you to have a clarification on that. So, what do you mean by fund-based services? So, fund-based services are nothing but we will provide the services. Again, whom am I mentioning as we financial institutions, financial services. So, fund-based services, leasing. First one is leasing, hire purchase, factoring, mutual funds, bill discounting, credit financing, housing finance. So these are the fund-based services. That is, what we will do is, we will do the investment firstly. So if we go with the fund-based means, we will do the investment firstly, then we will get the benefit. Okay. And now we're coming to the next category. Next type is about fee-based services. What do you mean by fee-based services? So, issue management, portfolio management, corporate counseling, merchant banking, credit rating, stock broking, debt and capital restructuring. If you are going to get a service related to issue or portfolio management or corporate counseling or merchant banking or credit rating or stock broking means you will be getting a fee. Okay. So these services are all based on fee, right? So now, I'll just brief about the list of funds-based and fee-based. Okay. Now, leasing. So what do you mean by leasing? You might all be knowing. So let's take the example of house. So we are in need of a house. So we will go and search for a house. And in some cases, most of the house, 90% of the house will be there blended for the rent only. And there are some people, 10% of people will be there who are in need of money, will leave their, who will be in need of a bulk money. Okay, a bulk money, not like rent. Rent will be from approximately ranging from 8,000 to 20,000 or 30,000, something like that. It depends on the bedroom, like BHKs, 1 BHK, 2 BHK, 3 BHK, like that, right? So, if I go for a bulk amount, if I'm in a need of a bulk amount, that landlord, the house owner will leave the house for leasing. So the same concept is for the companies as well, industry as well. So I don't have the land, but the landlord is ready to give the land for leasing. We'll go and get from him for the lease amount. I will give the lease amount and I will get the land. I will construct my industry and I will run my business. Okay. So now the concept is actually what the concept is. So by getting the lease, what will happen? A bulk amount will be given to the owner. Either he may be the landlord or he may be the house owner, whoever it is. So a bulk amount will be given to the landlord. So he will get that bulk amount and he will give an agreement. He will put an agreement saying that from this period to this period, I've lended my house to this particular person for this amount of money. After the consumption of that particular period, if the landlord says that the tenant need to be vacated, then what will happen? The landlord will repay the bulk amount, whatever he has uh, got from that particular tenant. Okay. Say, for example, just giving 5 lakhs lease amount to the landlord, and I'm just um, getting into the house, and I'm just living the house for a period of 1 year or 2 years. Let's just assume 2 years. In which case, the 2 years has gone, so I'm just ready to move on from there. So my landlord is supposed to give me the lump amount, whatever the amount that I've given to him, right? So this is what is leasing. In which case, what happens here? So the same way, the industry will also, if they have, the industry will go for the procurement of the leasing lands. Even the industry or the business people will keep some land empty for the future purpose. They would have bought it for the future purpose, right? So they keep some land empty. So in which case they try to lease it for someone else, and they will get the bulk amount of money. And from getting the bulk amount of money, instead of just keeping the empty land simply, uh, they are just lending it for the leasing purpose, and they are getting a bulk amount of funds raised from that land. What do? They just simply keep it with them. They will invest that money, that leasing money, into the financial market to make profit out of it, right? So this is what is leasing. And you people know hire purchase. Hire purchase is about, it is actually the opposite concept of leasing. What does it mean? So we will hire it, we will rent it, we will hire anything, whatever it is, a land or a machine or even a business, whatever it is. So we try to hire it, and we do get benefit out of it. And factoring, mutual fund investment. So from all these things, we do invest in beforehand. So firstly, we will do investment. We will get the benefit later. But in the next concept, we will get the service first. And according to the service, we will pay the fees to them, right? Fees to the financial institution, whoever is lending the service. The next concept is functions of financial services. Here comes again the functions. So mostly the function will relate with the importance also. You do understand the importance, you will obviously have an idea to give the function as well. Okay. Of course, we do mobilize the financial services, financial assisting industries will try to mobilize the funds for the industry who are in need of financial assistance. Okay. Then we do effective deployment of funds. We don't normally keep the funds inefficient. We try to be effective enough to raise the funds for the company. Okay, and we will also try to give them the financial advice to invest them in the proper, markets, capital market or money market or whatever it is. Okay, and then provision of need-based services. Of course, if we need any, actually we are in need of any service means, we do provide that. Before they ask, we will be in a position to provide that. Who are we? We are the financial assisting institutions. Okay. And then provision of regulated service. Of course, we do try to regulate it, that is systemized service to the people who are actually in need of financial assistance. And we do try to enhance the economic development as well. Okay. So the next concept is going to be structure. Yes. So this is what the structure of the Indian financial systems. So I've just given the flowchart. I'll just explain the flowchart. Just listen carefully. So just the Indian financial system has been broadly categorized into 4 types, which are financial institutions, financial market, financial instruments, financial services. So now, the financial institutions are the institutions which are actually giving the financial assistance. Okay, so financial services is a part of the financial institutions. So the institutions who are going to function as a financing industry will be giving the financial services. Okay, so first, because to understand about the financial institutions, I mean financial service providers, we need to understand about the financial institutions first. Okay, yes. So who are the financial institutions? The financial institutions, as I already mentioned, the banking institutions or the non-banking institutions. Okay, like how we have governmental institutions and non-governmental institutions. Likewise, banking institutions and non-banking institutions. So, if I mention the non-banking institution, by the name itself, you can understand there are some institutions which are act like banking, but they do not possess the certificate like banking. Okay, they just act like banking. So they know the banking terms. You can have the example of the agencies, the credit agencies, or the third party who will work as an agent between the individual and the bank to get the credit facility. Nowadays, you can find many individual like that. Okay, even the bank itself is providing the credit facility, but many, I mean, the individual people are getting into this field. Okay, banking institutions. So banking institutions is further divided into commercial banks and cooperative banks. And you will be knowing commercial banks will all be like public sector, private sector, and RRB, then foreign banks. In cooperative banks, as you all know, the banks which are which will have the cooperative people. I mean, like 7 to 6 members will be coordinatedly opening an account with the cooperative bank. Okay. Now comes the concept of non-banking institutions. So non-banking institutions, so just the slide shows the examples for non-banking institutions. So that itself is further divided into 2 categories, which is DFIs and non-banking financial entities. DFIs is further divided into like DFI comes under like LIC, Unit Trust of India, Life Insurance Corporation of India, Unit Trust of India, and GIC. These are all are coming under non-banking institutions. They do possess the certificate from the SBI and the RBI, but they are acting as non-banking. Why? Because they are just going to give the financial assistance to the people who are in need of financial services, right? Yes. Non-banking financial entities are like NBFCs, like equipment leasing, hire purchasing, investing, and loan providers, right? Fine. And the next comes our financial markets. The financial market is further divided into money market and capital market. You might be knowing the stock exchange concept, right? So the money market and capital market are the terms which we will learn from the stock exchange. So money market are the place where we have the treasury bills exchanged, call money market, commercial bills will be transacted, commercial papers will be transacted, etc. like that. In capital market, where we will split it further split it into primary market and secondary. So where the shares are being transferred, where the shares are being issued and bought, right? So now the financial instruments. So it is further split it into 2 types, which is on the basis of term and on the basis of type. On the basis of term, it is short term, medium term, and long term. On the basis of type, either it is a primary security or it is a secondary security. Fine. And the financial services, this we already discussed in the types of services, okay, which is fund-based and fee-based. So this is the actual structure of the Indian financial system. So actually, will be asked the types of financial services only, but I just want to show off this structure of Indian financial system. So how do the financial services is come from the financial institution? So how it is partialized from the financial institution? So I just want you to look at it, right? Yes. So I'll just go to the next one. Yes. So the money market instruments. So what are the money market instruments? Which are treasury bills, commercial papers, certificate of deposit, repurchase agreement, corporate bonds, bank accounts. So this money market instruments, capital market, so these are all coming the fund-based services. Okay. So I'll just go to the, so these are all like just for the namesake, you would have to understand, right? Yes. The next comes your players in the financial market. So who are all the players in the financial markets? So with this, we will just stop the class. We will continue with the next class. Okay. So just, yeah. So who are all the players in the financial markets? The financial markets are, financial market players are like the savers and the borrowers are the ultimate players. And in between them, we do have financial intermediaries, right? Like the banking institutions and the non-banking institutions. So that might be the banking institution. If it is a banking institution, we will mention it as investment bankers. And if it is a non-banking institution, we will mention them as financial intermediaries. That's right. So we do the financial, our job as financial intermediaries, our job is to get the security, get the investment of security from the borrowers, and we will lend the loan to the borrowers. And again, after getting the securities investment, we will just credit it on the name of the saver, those who want to save. Okay, so we will do it like a factory. So it will be like a routine. So that we will discuss in the next class. So thank you, girls.